Governor Tim Walz says the Minnesota Capitol will never be the same after the assassinations of Mark and Melissa Hortman. The former speaker and her husband were killed about a month ago. And in his first TV interview since the shootings, the governor sat down today with our Corn Hoggard, who is joining us live now from the Capitol. So, Corn, you talked a lot about the emotional weight of it all, right? I mean, I think people are still in shock, it's safe to say.
Yeah, absolutely, Simone. From like the day June 14th, when the governor first came out and told us that the Hortmans had been killed, to the day he gave the eulogy at their funeral services, to even today, I've seen him barely able to hold it together sometimes. I actually told him today I thought at the eulogy he was rushing through it, and he admitted he had done that. He said it was the hardest 5-minute speech he's ever given, and that includes, you know, accepting the vice presidential nomination. So yeah, the governor, like a lot of folks who work here at the Capitol, is grieving, still grieving.
Yeah, and it really makes you think of the future of politics, right? They were obviously close political partners. So does Melissa Hortman's death change anything about his political future at this point?
Probably does, but at this point he's not 100% sure of that. The probably most notable thing to me, I will see that he doesn't have her by his side for very savvy political decisions, the policy making, the negotiations, all of that. But on a more personal note for the governor, their deaths probably are a factor in his decision whether to run again for governor in 2026.
It's my intention to have a decision relatively soon, but I will just be candid. Melissa's murder, I think, is another thing to think about in terms of what does it mean to be here. And then I would also take into consideration, can I be the best messenger in this moment? And I think it's going to be important not just to be a firewall against Donald Trump, but to provide that positive vision that we've been trying to provide.
So yeah, hasn't made a decision on whether to run for governor, hasn't decided yet whether the federal budget issues will come down to Minnesota soon enough that they'll need a special session here for the legislature, and also hasn't decided whether he himself will run for president.
We know, Corn, you have a lot more coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. What else should we expect to hear from the governor?
Well, he is definitely following the court process, Simone. So he heard everything that came out yesterday. We got him to address some of the conspiracy theories that came out of the letter that the DOJ released from the alleged assassin to the FBI. And he also talked to me about some of the criticism that he's gotten for his own increasingly heated political rhetoric. So we're going to hear all about that coming up at 6.
All right, looking forward to your report tonight at 6 o'clock. Thank you, Corin. Still ahead.